It was once thought of as the place where all those who stepped ashore became its prisoners. The place condemned men went to work laying brick rather than be executed. Today, though it is a national monument and not a prison, it seems as though not much has changed at Fort Jefferson. So why is it that anyone would want to make this remote island their home?
It's kind of a special vacation for me because I know when this assignment is over, I'll be back working again. So I've enjoyed every minute of it.
She does have to make a hard decision every day, whether to go bird watching, shelling, read a good book, watch TV.
For Kim and Kevin Kaser, Fort Jefferson is home, just one of many outposts that Kevin has been stationed at while working for the National Park Service. Kevin admits that the Dry Tortugas does have its drawbacks.
The communication, and just the hassle, be it to get a loaf of bread or to say hello to Mom on Mother's Day or to be able to talk to my boss on an important matter, you're just so isolated. Communication's a problem. It's a hardship assignment, but obviously it has its benefits. It's very unique. So we love it here.
Walking the grounds is something the Casers have done 1,000 times over. One might think that they'd be overcome by boredom, but Kevin says that all depends on a person's perspective.
There's always something different, the different light, the different moods. You go exploring, you see something you didn't see before. If you look small, not only in the fort but in the water, you can see a lot of things you never saw before and learn a lot.
One man that the Casers, and for that matter, the entire crew at Fort Jefferson and Loggerhead have become dependent upon is Cliff Green. Cliff visits the islands once a week, bringing supplies and providing transportation back and forth from Key West. Originally, it was supposed to be a temporary job, but Cliff's been at it now for years. But if it's time that really counts, you can count on Russ Sprude to come through in a pinch.
Shrimp boats seem to have more accidents than anybody else. We've had one case of a severed leg, and another case of a lady on a shrimp boat was deathly ill, and in that case we, of course, responded. We can beat the Coast Guard in response to that type of thing in most cases, except at night, because the Coast Guard helicopters are normally up at Miami. Try to provide service that's needed out here. They're pretty remote out here. And the only way, of course, to get here is with a boat or an airplane. You came in a boat. Next time, come on an airplane, and it's a completely different view. You see all the waters of shipwrecks, treasure salvage site, the whole bit, and it's every bit as pretty as anything in the Caribbean.
Kim and Kevin Kaser, Cliff Green, Russ Spurge, just a few of the people who make their living in a land that some people would just as soon abandon to the elements. But without such people, there would be no one to preserve this magnificent national monument. Tomorrow it'll be time to depart the Tortugas and pay tribute to Fort Jefferson. For 4 fantastic days we had explored the fort and dove the reefs. Now it was time to bid farewell to this Goliath of the Gulf. And as we set a course for home, we all knew we'd be hard-pressed to ever find a more fascinating landfall.
Islands awash our land's last extremity, where for man there was no amenity, for our ship's sanctuary from a stormy sea. But the sea was not our only enemy, so with the wind came wooden ships, and in their hold 16 million bricks. But upon this reef our plans would come to grief, to raise a fortress from the sea, to raise a fortress from the sea. No walls were thicker and none were higher, so we had no fear of cannon fire. But to that new rifle shot they'll stand up not, so before the job was done we did retire. Before the job was done we did retire. But walls that would not keep an enemy out would still keep a prisoner in. So to turn the Tortugas into a torrid hell was to be the fate of Fort Jefferson, was to be the fate of Fort Jefferson. And there were sharks in the moat and fever in the yard, and the men were dying in between. Didn't matter if you were prisoner, didn't matter if you were guard, you were buried in the sand just the same. You were buried in the sand just the same. So in the grip of the Gulf Stream's water, to guard the southeast quarter, built of brick, blood, and mortar, we left the fortress in the sea, the fortress that rises from the sea. But that was long ago, now it's different, don't you know? And Jefferson's a mighty fort again, a sanctuary for the fishes in the sea, the birds on the quay, people like you and me. And how I long to be there again, to watch the setting sun over the ancient guns of Fort Jefferson, the fortress that rises from the sea.